This is Land of Havilah, Isaiah 62. In this short chapter, Yahweh swears in the strongest possible terms that he will glorify Zion in the millennium. It's easy to understand Zion as he's describing it here because he's described it so many times already. What's not so easy to understand is his commitment and zeal to Zion. He's committed and jealous for establishing his glorious kingdom there. He will come to Jerusalem. He will establish his loving personal presence there, and she will be a city of strength, security, abundance, beauty, glory, reward, righteousness, joy, and worship, a credit and praise to his name across the earth. Most of it is understandable and will need no comment. Verse 1. For Zion's sake I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until her righteousness shines out like the dawn, and her salvation like a burning lamp. The nations will see your righteousness, and all kings your glory, and you'll be called by a new name, which Yahweh's mouth will name. You'll also be a crown of beauty in Yahweh's hand, and a royal diadem in your God's hand. You'll not be called forsaken any more, nor will your land be called desolate any more, but you'll be called Hephzibah, and your land Beulah, for Yahweh delights in you, and your land will be married. For as a young man marries a virgin, so your sons will marry you. As a bridegroom rejoices over his bride, so your God will rejoice over you. I have set watchmen on your walls, Jerusalem. They'll never be silent day nor night. You who call on Yahweh, take no rest, and give him no rest, until he establishes and until he makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Yahweh has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give your grain to be food for your enemies, and foreigners will not drink your new wine for which you've labored, but those who have harvested it will eat it and praise Yahweh, and those who have gathered it will drink it in the courts of my sanctuary. Go through the gates, prepare the way of the people, build up the highway, gather out the stones, lift up a banner for the peoples. Behold, Yahweh has proclaimed to the end of the earth, say to the daughter of Zion, behold, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. They'll call them the holy people, Yahweh's redeemed. You'll be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Comment, that's the chapter. In verse 2, Yahweh will call Zion by a new name. There's follow-up in verse 4 that Zion will be called Hephzibah, which means Yahweh delights in her, and Beulah, which means married. Yahweh delights in Zion and has married her. In verse 5, Zion's sons will marry her. It's awkward the way it came out in English that her sons will marry her, but it simply means her residents will love the place and be committed to it. Zion will be precious to them. Yahweh won't let go of Zion, and neither will her people. Verse 4 is the one appearance of Beulah in the Bible. It's where we get the term Beulah land, which means married land. In verse 4, the land was previously called forsaken and desolate, but not to worry, redemption is coming, and sad names will no longer apply. In verses 6 and 7, I have set watchmen on your walls, Jerusalem. The watchman's function in verses 6 and 7 isn't to look outward, but to look inward on the city, see the city as God sees her, be jealous over her and over her desolate condition as God is jealous, pray and not let God rest until he establishes her as a credit to himself in the earth, or as a praise to Yahweh, as it says. God himself sets the watchman in place in verse 6, quote, I've set watchmen on your walls, end quote. Such is his commitment and zeal to saving and redeeming Zion. In the law of Moses, the berries on a bush shouldn't be eaten for the first 4 years of the bush, but left hanging there to be seen and admired to the praise of Yahweh, Leviticus 19:23-25. The sight of the glorious berries inspires praise to the one who made them. In the same way, the sight of Zion, or the thought of Zion, will be to the praise of Yahweh across the earth in verse 7. It doesn't get any stronger than verse 8, quote, Yahweh has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, end quote. Yahweh had nothing higher by which to swear, so he swore by himself. He swears he'll establish the Zion prophecies. In verses 8 and 9, there was lots of raiding of the crops in the ancient world. The Philistines raided Israel and so forth. Gideon beat out the wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites, Judges 6:11. Raids were an existential problem. There'll be no more raiding of Jerusalem in verses 8 and 9. They'll dwell securely, they'll harvest their grapes, make wine, and drink it in the courts of the sanctuary to the praise of Yahweh. By the way, that would be the courts of the temple, and we can chalk it up as another mention of the temple in the millennium. In verse 10, God commands the building of a highway. Build it up and remove the stones from it, he says. He's smoothing the way for his people to come to Zion and drawing them there by lifting up a banner. It's a superhighway for easy travel. Build it, advertise it, issue the invitation, show them the way, draw them to it, and they'll come. In verse 11, Yahweh has proclaimed all this to the whole earth, he says. And we know he did because he published it to the whole earth in the Bible. It's a black and white record of his intentions and oaths. How will he not come through? Isaiah 63 is next.